Hey there and welcome. Have you ever felt that new little twinge or maybe a dull ache, and you just think to yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? Well, today we're going to play detective and decode those very first, super subtle physical clues that just might be the earliest signs of pregnancy.
This is the question, right? It's the one that has so many of us searching for answers. You just feel different, but you can't quite put your finger on why. So, are these just random aches, or are they maybe pieces of a much bigger puzzle? We're going to treat them like clues in your own personal mystery. All right, let's jump right in.
Okay, so before we start mapping out all the specific pains, we kind of need to understand why they're even happening in the first place. What's going on under the hood? Because the second conception happens, your body starts this absolutely incredible new mission. And all these little signs, think of them as messages coming straight from headquarters.
So, this whole thing kicks off on a really precise timeline. Around day 14 of your cycle, give or take, ovulation happens. An egg is released. If sperm is there to meet it, boom, you get fertilization. But the real game changer, the event that kicks everything into high gear, is implantation. That happens around day 21, when that tiny little embryo snuggles in and attaches to the uterine wall. And let me tell you, that is the moment everything, and I mean everything, starts to change.
Okay, so as soon as that embryo is implanted, it sends out this massive signal. It starts pumping out a brand new hormone called HCG. And that hormone, along with a huge surge in estrogen and progesterone, is like a flood of text messages going out to every single part of your body, basically saying, all right, team, get ready. These hormones, they're the masterminds behind literally every single clue we're about to break down.
All right, science lesson over. Now for the fun part. Let's put on our detective hats. We're going to follow a map of the most common early aches and pains, and we're starting right at the epicenter of all the action.
So clue number 1. This is often the first one people notice, and it shows up right here in the lower belly. Now, this one can be super confusing because, honestly, it can feel a lot like your period is about to start, but what's happening inside is completely different.
So what are we talking about here? What does it actually feel like? Well, a lot of women describe it as this mild pulling sensation, or maybe some light cramping. It could be on the left, the right, or right in the center. And the cause is just, wow. It's the actual physical sensation of that little embryo implanting itself, and all the extra blood flow rushing to that area to support it. And hey, you might even get a little bonus clue, some light pink or brown spotting. Not everyone sees this, so don't worry if you don't, but it's totally normal if you do.
All right, on to clue number 2. And for so many people, this one is, well, it's pretty undeniable. Those hormones we talked about, they have a very important job to do. And they get to work on your breasts almost right away.
You might start to feel this new tenderness. Maybe they feel a little sore to the touch, or just heavy, that full feeling. They can get super, super sensitive. It's such a clear sign that those hormones are on the job. They're already starting to prep for future breastfeeding. That's why your nipples might get sore, and the area around them, the areola, can start to look a little darker, maybe with more noticeable little bumps on it.
Okay, now for a clue that might actually surprise you. Because even though all the main action is happening way down in your uterus, the ripple effects can travel all the way up to your head.
Yeah, I'm talking about headaches. A nagging, heavy headache in those days leading up to when you'd expect your period can totally be a sign. And you might be wondering, why on earth would that happen? Well, the reason is actually pretty fascinating. Your body suddenly has a new number one priority, the uterus. So it starts redirecting a ton of blood flow down there to help out. The trade-off? A little less circulation for your head, which, you guessed it, can cause that annoying ache.
Okay, quick recap. We've talked about pains from those hormone messengers and from your blood flow being rerouted. But what about the aches that come from your body literally starting to make space for the future? That's where our next couple of clues come into play.
Let's talk about your core support system, your back, and your pelvis. Because believe it or not, even at this super, super early stage, your body is already starting to physically adapt.
We're not talking about a sharp, shooting pain here. It's more that dull, constant ache deep in your lower back. And the culprit? Your uterus, which, and this is pretty wild, is already starting to expand. As it grows, it puts just a little bit of pressure on your pelvic bones and your spine, and what you feel is that classic lower backache.
And for our last stop on this detective journey, we're heading down to the legs and thighs. Now, I know this might seem totally random and unconnected, but I promise you, it's all part of the same story.
So if you're feeling some weird aches or soreness in your thighs or legs, guess what? The reason is exactly the same as those headaches we just talked about.
Your body is just this brilliant manager, right? It's like, okay, all hands on deck, send the blood supply to the uterus. And that just means there's a little less to go around for your legs for a bit, which can make them feel kind of achy.
Okay, so you've been following the clues, you're nodding along, maybe you're noticing some of these signs yourself. The big question is, now what? What should you be doing? Well, this next part is all about how to support your body during that supercritical implantation process.
Look, the advice here is actually pretty simple, but it's so important. First things first, try to keep your stress levels down. This is not the time for heavy lifting, so protect your abdomen. Just be a little more mindful of how you move. When you're getting up, sitting down, you know the drill. But really, the most important thing is just to listen to your body. Rest when you feel tired. Take it easy. All these little things can really help give your body the best shot at a successful implantation.
So let's say you've put it all together. You're feeling some of these aches and pains, you're connecting the dots, and then the biggest clue of all shows up. Or rather, it doesn't show up. Your period is late. And that is the moment when all the pieces of this puzzle really start to click into place.
So, is it time? Yep, it absolutely is. Your body has given you all of these little clues. If you've missed your period, the best thing to do is wait maybe 3 or 4 days, and then take a home pregnancy test. That's the definitive next step. It's the final piece that solves the mystery. And suddenly, the question isn't, could it be anymore? Instead, it's the very first page of a whole new, amazing journey.